Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a little while and I'm probably not going to have any videos up at all for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. But after that I'm going to have at least one or two videos up a week, and unfortunately I won't be able to do the walk and talks anymore. Or I guess I could, but I would have to do it out in public, not on our land. So I'm not gonna do that. I was thinking that I would just get one of those like phone mounts in my car and a microphone, and anytime I go on a drive I'll make a video then, which is better to me than just sitting down, because I don't like sitting down and making like a lecture video just talking about dates and when this happened, when this guy did this, or anything like that. So it'd be nice to at least be in a car and moving and thinking, and I think that would be fun, more fun. But anyway, there's this guy who I found recently on YouTube. I guess I started seeing his content on YouTube maybe 6 months ago or so, just some of his YouTube shorts, but I started actually watching his stuff more recently. Forget his name now, but the channel is called Wrangler Star, and he does lots of cool stuff on there. I think he was a wildlife firefighter. I don't know if that's what you call it, but he was a firefighter, and then he worked in construction for a little bit, I believe. So he's done, sounds like, a good amount of stuff in his life. And he talks about tools, how to fix things, how to build things, anything like that. So he makes cool videos. But sometimes he'll just talk about something that he just wants to talk about, an idea that he's been thinking about, or an idea that's popular in the culture. Which, I saw a video of his just last week where he was talking about why young men don't want to work anymore, which was interesting. And some of his main points were that there's no reason to, when Western women now are gross. Women in America, Canada, Europe, Australia are just gross women. And obviously, for any man, at least a partial motivating factor of doing much of anything in life is women. And sometimes for some men it seems to be the only motivating factor in their lives. But to every man, it's at least a little bit of a motivating factor. So when you take that away, it's like, okay, so that's off the list. At least it'd be a lot harder to find a woman who you would actually like to have around and marry and have children with, and aren't gonna hate the rest of your life with. So you have that, and then you go, well, the value of my money is decreasing more and more. That's nice. So I work harder, and yet I don't get the same value from my work. Even though the number goes up, everything else goes up, so what does it matter? It's basically the same. If not worse. It's worse, actually. The donkey's coming up. Hey, buddy. I don't know why they get so close recently. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? So close. I was never able to touch him before. It's weird. So you have that. And, man, I think there's this book by Richard J. Maybury, I believe, where he talks about whatever happened to penny candy. That's actually the title of his book. I believe it's an Uncle Eric book in his Uncle Eric book series, where basically it's written as if you are writing to, or someone's writing to their uncle, Uncle Eric, asking questions about things. And that one's, whatever happened to penny candy, and why can't I go to a candy store and get one piece of candy for 1 penny anymore? So you have that. Then you think, well, now, basically, even if I want to mess around with my friends or do something harmless, I'm probably going to go to jail, maybe even prison, if I do something that my parents would have done with their buddies, which, yes, might be dangerous, might be reckless, but if they were caught, a police officer probably just told them, or is more likely to tell them, guys, stop being stupid, just go home, or maybe they drive them home, tell their parents. But now, no, you are going to get some serious punishments. You're going to pay a big fine, or you're going to go to jail, or something. It's so rare that you actually have a police officer who's going to be reasonable and do what we at least thought they're supposed to do. So that's not necessarily about not working or not wanting to work, but it's just another thing that makes you not want to have some fun or do something. Because even like driving, okay, I drive, I end up going let's say 55 in a 50, and it's a work construction zone, and then I'm going 5 over, so I get pulled over and I get a huge fine for that. Thank you, very nice. Or I go 6 miles per hour over in a 55, I get pulled over, get a fine, get a ticket, whatever. It's like, why? Why is it always about that? But of course, the answer is pretty obvious. It's just some guys who are just doing their job. And that's all it is, really. Even though that's obviously stupid. So you have that as well. Again, that's not about working. That's just about having more freedom. But again, if you're not going to have as much freedom, what's the point of working? If the money you make is not valuable anymore, then what's the point? So another thing is with money, let's say you work hard enough that you make enough money to, say, buy some land if you like. Okay, so now I bought this piece of land. I think it's now mine. But then I have to pay property taxes. Okay, so what happens if I don't do that? Well, I'm going to get arrested. I'm going to go to prison. So is it really my own property? Is it my own land? I guess not. Okay, so I can't really own land. And then the money I do make gets taxed as well. That's nice. When I go to buy something at the store, it gets taxed. So I want like something for $4.99, it's $7.89. Okay, thank you. That's great. So now that my money is worth less, everything that I want, I either have to pay more for, or it's not really mine. Wonderful, thank you, awesome. And then let's say with that piece of land, I wanted to build something. Okay, how about I'll build just a small shop for myself, and I'll convert, let's say it'll be 2 levels, so I'll convert the upper level into like a little sleeping quarters, and then down below I'll have the actual shop. I'll have all my tools, I'll have a little garage, maybe I can pull my truck in there. Great. I want to build that. I know how to. I have all the tools, Plus, it's my land. I should be able to do what I want. No, you have to get someone to allow you to have a permit to build that thing, and then they go, well, how's the plumbing? How's the electricity? How's the structural integrity? Okay, so I can't even build something on my own land? Why? If it's my own land, if it's private property, and I build something that's dumb and it crashes on top of me and kills me, that's my fault. Great. That's my fault. But no, it's not your land, so they can tell you what to do with it. It's just, I feel like more and more it feels like these people just farm you for your time and resources. So you think you're the one making money and actually getting something out of it because you can buy a new jet ski or a new truck, or you can take out a huge loan to buy a bigger house. And you feel like you're getting all this new stuff, or you're getting something of your own, you get your own land, but then you're spending all this time working a job that, for the most part, probably doesn't benefit you, especially now that less and less people want to work. That was great. Farting and running, that's great. Gives you a little boost. They're crazy. Most people don't want to work like a blue collar job anymore, which is what I'm gonna do. That's what I think is the best thing to do. Not so much for money, of course that's an important part, but also more so for the skill, because I want to be able to do my own things. I get mad whenever I don't know how to do something simple. It's so annoying. So even just fixing something simple or learning how to build something, I'd like to learn how to do that. Anyway, because people are choosing not to do things like that and aren't actually learning a skill, since so many people have like fake jobs now, people are getting nothing out of this other than material possessions that they don't really own. You know, so the thing is, I guess when you look at the World Economic Forum and their video that was from 2018 or something like that, 2016, where they said you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Okay, it's really not that far off, is it? So you get all your money taken away, or not all your money taken away. You get a good portion of your money taken away when you're working. The money you make from working gets taxed like 40, 50, 60%. Okay, great. Your land is not yours because as soon as you stop paying taxes, then they can take it. Wonderful, thank you. If I want to build something on my land, I can't do that. Awesome, thanks. So, what do you have? You have your new truck that you spent tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on. That's some like little toy. And you have your new jet ski or your new house, and you think you're free. Are ya? Are ya? I mean, it's not your house. You may have built it, you may have bought it. It's not yours. Not yours. It could either go to the bank or it could go to the government. Or at least the government would take you out of that house if you stop deciding that you want to pay for that. So, going back around, I think it makes perfect sense why young men don't want to work anymore. And Wrangler Star, I forget his actual name, but in the video he showed tons of graphs of these rates that young men are just deciding to stay at home and play video games, or the rates that they're not working, things like that. I'll try to link the video in the description below so you guys can watch it, because it's a good video. But yeah, so you own nothing. You can work your whole life, and at least if you go along with what everybody tells you to do, you're going to work your whole life. You're likely going to hate what you do. Even if you get skills from your job, you're likely not going to learn how to actually use them for an individual project or for yourself. At least, I mean more so in terms of a long-term replacement of your current job. That's what I mean. And then you don't really own anything. Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful. So yeah, I think that's great. And then I am 17 right now. I'm gonna turn 18 in August, so in a little over a month I'll be 18. And 18 is a big birthday. That's where you get independence from your parents. Maybe not financial independence immediately, but you are viewed as your own separate entity, your own person. And that's when society considers you a man. At least that's what people think, but the more I've looked into it, it doesn't. I really don't think that the day I turn 18, I'll really feel that different. Of course, from one day to the next, of course I'm not going to feel like, oh, I'm so much more mature. I feel like I have so much more freedom. I'm obviously not, but it's just when you look at the laws for things, it's like, okay, so if you're at the under the age of 18, there's all these child labor laws. So it's so much harder to set yourself up before you're 18 to actually gain more independence from not just your parents, but from the system, because you have less time to work and actually act independently. It makes no sense to go from completely dependent on people one day and then the day you turn 18 to just go, well, there you go, that's it. You are now completely independent of people. And of course, when you're 17, with your parents' permission, you can go join the military. You can go fight and die in a war. When I'm going to be 18, when you're 18, you can do that yourself. Because, of course, you're supposed to be considered an adult, and that's your choice. Okay, so I can go fight and die in a war, but I now can't buy cigarettes from a store or a gas station. I can't smoke a cigarette, but I can get my head blown off. Thank you. Wonderful. And of course, it's viewed as for safety. You might get cancer, so we're just going to tell you you're not going to do it at all. So now it's 21. Same with drinking. So it's like, imagine you're 17 or 18 in some trench, and some other guy is 21, 22, and he brings a bottle of Jack Daniels, and you're like, man, we're probably gonna die. Can I have a cup? Can I have a glass of that? And then everyone back home would go, it would be so fair for him in his final moments to have that, because he's gonna die. But then, if you're considered a adult at 18, you can't have a glass of wine? Okay. so weird. And of course, it's meant to be like that because more and more over time, things are becoming more and more restrictive to where you were supposed to be viewed as an adult at a younger and younger age, but you can do less and less and less over time. So there's drinking and smoking, and being independent and making your own decisions like an adult should do, which now is kept from you until you're 21, or you can't rent a car until you're, I think it's 25. So, are you really an adult then? Doesn't seem like it. And then my dad was actually telling me how when he turned, well, first of all, he thought that you could buy cigarettes when you're 18, but you can't, because I think it's some federal law. We need to protect the kids. The kids are now doing acid, so that didn't work out too well, did it? The kids are now vaping, smoking weird juice from a cartridge. That really worked out, didn't it? So, but then he was telling me a story how when he turned 18 in the town that he grew up in, he would go to this like riverboat casino thing where the boat would float down the river. There was a casino on the riverboat, and if you were 18, you can go and gamble there. So he would go there with his best friend, and they would be there for 2 hours until the boat came back and docked again, and they would just play blackjack. And of course, they couldn't drink because they weren't 21, but they were able to gamble on this boat, and they were treated more like adults than I will be when I turn 18, or like any other person is who is 18 now, or 19 or 20. So, it's like you have less and less to look forward to the more time that goes on. You think from stories from your parents or grandparents that turning 18 is going to be awesome because you're going to be so independent. Everything is your responsibility, and which should be true still. Everything's your responsibility, and you're going to be treated as an adult, and society is going to view you as an adult. Okay, but I can't make the decision to smoke tobacco or to drink a glass of wine until I'm 21. That's strange. So I'm not really an adult. I don't have complete independence. Anyway, that last part was not necessarily about not wanting to work, but and I'll have an update video when I turn 18. The day I turn 18, I'll make a video, or maybe the day after, and we'll see how different I feel. I doubt it'll be very different from how I feel now, maybe even more upset about it than I am now. Because then I'll finally realize, oh, I really don't get any benefit from being a day older. That's awesome. But yeah, that's one thing that I want. I want to buy my own land. I want to work a job where I can learn the skills to be able to, let's say, build my own cabin. I'd really, really love to do that. Maybe build my own house. Who knows? So these are aspirations of mine, to have these things, to be able to walk on a piece of land and go, this is mine. I built that cabin, or I built that house. I have spent years trying to get these skills to where I could do these things. But then it's like, okay, let's say something bad happens and I couldn't pay the property taxes for that piece of land, and then it's gone. And then I go to prison, and then that becomes a thing on my record, and it screws a ton of other things up. And I think, that's probably not land is not the primary thing for young men. It's not their number one thought that they have when they turn 18. But, that's just one thing where it's like, is it really worth it then? Is it really worth it to spend years learning something just to pretend that something's mine? Which I do think it is worth spending years learning how to master something, or at very least learning how to be very sufficient in a specific field. I think it's worth that. And I think it is worth having land either way. But it's just one thing where it's like, that's feels degrading. And I think young men feel very degraded knowing that they have to go to work, and not just to support themselves, but that if they don't, then everyone's going to look down upon them. And that they're expected to do that for the rest of their lives until the day they die, or at least until they're 65, and then they get some house in Florida where they vacation every summer or every winter, whatever. See, I don't even know when you go there, because I would never go to Florida, because I don't care. If you like Florida, if you live in Florida, that's your thing, great. But I'm a mountain person. I don't like beaches and flat land. But, so you work until you're 65, then you retire, and then you're going to be upset that you're not doing anything, so you die. And you don't really own anything. That's what young men are looking at now. And that's what everyone is telling them to do still. So, it's nice to see people like Wrangler Star talking about this, who are older. I believe he's in his 50s. So, to have people looking at this and going, it really makes sense why young men don't want to do anything. That doesn't mean they shouldn't do anything. I don't believe that at all. But, it shows that things need to be done to get rid of all these restrictions and actually start treating young men like men. Because if you don't treat young men like men, they will never be men. They'll never have the interest in becoming men either. And of course you have the fact that everyone commits an average of 3 felonies a day in the United States, because there's hundreds of thousands of laws, and you have no idea what they are. This camera's still kind of weird. It could be like it could literally be something as dumb as stepping on a crack on a sidewalk could be a felony. And that might make you laugh, but I'm serious. It is so, when you look at some of these laws, it's insane. So it's like, I'm just supposed to sit in my house, and even that might be a crime. Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful. But people keep voting for the same people, thinking that that'll fix anything too. So, gracias. Muchas gracias. But yeah, I think that's it for my video today. This is a long one, like 30 something minutes. So, yeah, this is just something I've been thinking about because I'm about to turn 18, and then because of Regular Star's video about this, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it. I think it sucks. It does suck. But I think things can be done about it, and I think what needs to be done about it first is not a changing of laws or anything like that. It's not about voting people in, expecting them to do something about it. It's not about that. It's about, I think, starting to treat people, well, first gaining and creating your own moral compass, your own moral code, and then encouraging other people to do that, so to where they actually start treating themselves like men and women. And I think from there, when you have a large group of people who actually do have some self-respect and do want to build something in their lives, not just coast along until they die, then you'll have a group of capable people who are actually able to change things. But of course you can't change anything until you have the people who can do something about it. But yeah, guys, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys next time.